Hello, I'm Cameron Sanderson, and welcome to LUTV Sports Break, where we will discuss interesting sports topics with our panel of sports reporters. This group of sports contributors have built houses on Bad Take Boulevard when it comes to picking winners for the Super Bowl and the Final Four. Guys, let's not throw up any more bricks with our next picks. The National Basketball Association is in the final stretch of the season before the run for the playoffs. The beasts in the East are Giannis, the Greek Freak, and the Milwaukee Bucks leading the conference standing. The joke has been on the rest of the Left Coast Conference as the Denver Nuggets are looking to take the gold as best in the West. Panel, will the frontrunners be in the finals this summer, or will there be an unexpected hoops champion embracing the O'Brien in June?
Yeah, so, I'll go with kind of some frontrunners. Obviously, the East does run through Milwaukee, but they have a main competitor right now, and that's Boston. They were in the finals last season. They are probably the most versatile team in the NBA. They have 4 starters that are shooting over 45%. That's insane. They're extremely efficient. They're in the top 5 in offense and defense. That's about the most complete NBA team you can get, man.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. And the West, I really just had to settle for Denver. I really don't see a real competitor in the West. I think Denver's the best available. Because they do have the MVP. He's averaging a triple-double. And they have 4 players that are averaging over 16 points per game. So that's who I'm going with.
I'll say my original pick, personally, was the Phoenix Suns just because the amount of talent on there and everything. And plus, people were concerned about their depth and everything. But in actuality, their depth has been stepping up. But I'm going to have to agree with you. I can't see anyone beating the Nuggets right now out of the West. Because let's be honest, everyone in the West right now, they're just looking up to the Nuggets. Nuggets have been here before, and they don't look like they're going to stop anytime soon. Now, in the East, the Celtics have been the most consistent team in that whole division, automatically. They're not even top 5 in offense and defense. They're top 5 in almost every major category for any team.
Right.
So, unfortunately, I just have to agree with Brett the entire time.
It's a wise decision.
Yeah, it's a very wise decision. I'm going to have to say Celtics and Nuggets, man.
I don't know about the Nuggets finding gold out of the West, but I will tell you that gold and purple team out in LA will be in the finals this year.
Boy.
Oh, my God.
Man, you talk about, you say Jokic is the MVP. Oh, he's going to be there. Well, they have a guy named LeBron James who they termed the king, and he could have very well have 18 MVPs right now in his career.
Yeah.
I think that team with him and Anthony Davis and the moves that they made before the trade deadline, they've become so much better, and now they're competing with the other team in LA with Kawhi, Paul George, and now Russell Westbrook to see who gets that best record in the West. Mm-hmm. Man, they're coming. They're definitely coming, and LeBron's going to show you exactly why he's the king.
What you got going on in the East then, Trey?
In the East, I do have to agree. I think the Celtics actually have the best chance. Yeah, Giannis, he's probably the most gifted player in that Eastern Conference. It's hard to stop him. That's the reason why they call him the Greek Freak. Mm. But you talk about that Celtics team, they just have a complete team. Whether you look at the depth on their bench, what they can do on the offensive and the defensive side of the floor, they're just a complete team.
Surprised no Milwaukee's yet.
I know.
Well, let's get to my picks.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Let's talk about the West, all right? And for me, I like the Nuggets pick, but I don't believe in the one-man band making a run throughout the playoffs. Jokic may be the MVP, but I don't see him making a run for the finals. He's got tough teams to go through, and if this team can stay healthy, you probably know who I'm going with. They're going to make the finals. It's the Suns. If that team keeps all their players on the court, they're not winning. You're going to shake your head, but unfortunately, when KD is on the court, the Suns haven't lost.
I'm shaking my head because you say if KD's on the court, but how many times have we seen Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul play through an entire playoff series without getting hurt?
This team is better than the team that made the finals just 2 years ago.
Yeah, this team
If
is
they're
better.
on the court.
If they're on the court,
And
they're
if
better.
they stay on the court, they're not going to have a problem making the finals.
That's a huge if because we
Yeah.
haven't seen that happen in a very long time.
That's a major if.
I don't think so. I think if
Actually.
he stays healthy, I think when he stays healthy, this team's going to make a run to the finals.
Okay.
And if you want to bounce over to the East, y'all are all picking Celtics, so I guess I'll be the man that stands out. I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Okay.
I think that Giannis is a talented player. We all know he's the most gifted player in the NBA right now.
Right.
He is the best player in the NBA right now. There's not a question. I don't care if he's not winning these back-to-back MVPs at this moment. He's the best player. I think if anybody's going to carry a team by themselves, it's not going to be Jokic. It's going to be Giannis, and he doesn't even have to do it by himself. He has Middleton. He has the weapons around him. It's not a weak team for him. I think I could see them making the finals.
See, you say like as much as a one-man band as Denver is, but I would argue that Milwaukee with Giannis is more of a one-man band. And, I mean, of course they have Middleton, but Middleton's going to need another player to provide for him so that can swing out to him and so he can catch and shoot. Denver, like I said, they have 4 players averaging 16 points per game, at least. That Aaron Gordon, everybody remembers dunk champion Aaron Gordon. He's averaging like 16.7. He's proving he's more than just a dunk champion. Michael Porter Jr., he's a Brandon Ingram type of scorer that has an unblockable jumper. Jokic is averaging, if like you said, even if it was a one-man band, Jokic would be the guy to do it because he can facilitate. He raises the floor of everyone around him. So like I said, I'm not high on anyone in the West, but the Nuggets are probably the ones I'm going with.
I mean, you make a good point about the Nuggets. I do think, and with the Bucks, I think Giannis would be a better fit for, we talk about a one-man show. Over there in Denver, they have a pretty good team over there too. And Jokic being a facilitator is a big part in why they're so successful. But the Lakers also have one of the greatest facilitators of all time, not to mention one of the highest scorers of all time in LeBron James. And when you talk about what Denver does in a regular season, we've seen them within the top 2 or 3 rankings in the West the last couple of years. But when that playoff comes, there's a different level that they need to tap into that I think LeBron has showed you, whether he's in the East or the West, he's going to do that. I really see him getting his 5th ring. Will it be this year in LA or maybe somewhere else after? Who knows? But I think they have a stronger chance with Anthony Davis playing the way that he's been playing lately, dropping 40 against the Rockets. That's something we just haven't seen, whether he was playing the Rockets, the Hornets, or whoever, the Warriors. We haven't seen that from Anthony Davis. So who we know to be street clothes the last year or so, it's showing you who he is once again. And it's kind of like that second coming of Anthony Davis that we always know.
When he's on the court, though.
He's
been hurt.
And
he's been hurt a lot this year, too.
And also with LeBron, they're probably going to either play like the Grizzlies or the Suns. They're not beating those teams. They're just not. I don't care.
I think they match up well against the Suns, to be honest.
Really?
I think the Lakers can make a run. I will stay with Trey with that. I think that if I was going to pick a team that wasn't the Suns, the Lakers would be top 3 on that list.
I'm not betting. If I had to put money on it, I'm never putting my money against LeBron James because time and time again, you think that he's counted out and he counts himself back in.
I just can't see the Lakers going that far this playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with Jonathan. I think it's a question of the supporting cast. Yeah. Besides Anthony Davis and LeBron, I don't think the team's constructed very well.
I mean, you look at D'Angelo Russell at point guard. They got much bigger on that, as far as size goes.
They have good talent, but like when it comes down to it, playoff basketball is all about your depth and your stars. Yes, they have stars, but their depth, I'm not too sold on.
And you're going to need depth with street clothes.
Yeah. But you're talking about the West. Which team really has depth? I mean, I think the Suns probably have the deepest roster, but we keep talking about this if they're on the floor. Yeah. I think the Lakers, yes, they have their injury problems as well, but so does everyone else. And I think when you see that Kevin Durant go down or that Chris Paul, which is pretty much bound to happen, I mean, they're stacked up very evenly.
You know what? I'm going to say it. Even if they pull a matchup against Sacramento, I think Sacramento beats them.
I think that, yeah.
I think
you think they're going to like the beam?
You think Sacramento beats the Lakers?
Yes, easily.
I think that's a good chance that could happen.
There's a good chance that actually happens.
Well, if you think that Sacramento can beat the Lakers, then how are you going to sit here and think the Lakers are going to confidently make it to the championship?
Well, I think the Lakers have the best shot because they have LeBron James, which no other team in the NBA has. But the Sacramento Kings are so young. And the way that they can run and gun, and they're sound on defense, they're well coached. I think they might, just like we seen the Celtics last year. Nobody thought the Celtics were a for sure shot to the finals. Mm-hmm. They ran through the Philadelphia 76ers. They ran through the Greek Freak. So it's just like I think in Sacktown over there, they have the chance to do what the Celtics did last year.
Yeah, Sacramento was going to be my pick, but they were so young, I just could not bring myself to do it. Yeah. They're incredibly talented. I think they make a run, but just they don't get past Denver.
And plus, I know the Lakers have LeBron, but Phoenix has KD, Milwaukee has Giannis, and the Celtics have the entire team. So even if they did make it out the West, they're not beating either Milwaukee or Boston. Let's all be honest
I
here.
think it runs through the East.
Yeah.
So let me bounce this out to y'all because now we know our picks from the West and the East. We've talked about it. We know who's going. Who do y'all have winning? For me, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I think the Suns get the best of the matchup. I think they beat the Bucks. Okay. I think this is a rematch of 2 years ago. I think Booker wants it. Chris Paul deserves it. And I think this is a legacy win for KD. Yeah, you're joining another team that's talented, but, I mean, you haven't been back since that super team where you were surrounded by, a guy that was top 10 all time. Curry is top 10 all time. So I think this would be a huge win for KD, elevating this team to now winning a championship.
I think you make a good point about Chris Paul deserving it, and I think we've seen his window, and it closed, I think, after they lost the finals the last time that they were there. Now with Kevin Durant, they would have a sliver of a chance again. But my pick would have to be the Boston Celtics. I think if they match up against the Lakers, their team is just too deep. And with right now they're talking about Jaylen Brown potentially not being in Boston anymore. I think they know this is their last chance, their last run.
Please.
They're going to try to finish this off with that duo with JT and get the dub.
Yeah, I also have the Celtics. Even with the Celtics and Denver, I think it goes 7 games. If that's how it goes. That's 2 teams constructed very similarly, both very deep. But I have the Celtics pulling it out over them.
I personally do still see the Celtics winning it. I would say if it was somehow if Milwaukee made it, I would see them winning it. Whoever wins the East, to my opinion, is basically winning the championship. Because when you see Giannis and the Bucks, whoever they play against, they're not gonna help. They're not gonna help but try to just guard Giannis. Chris Middleton's gonna be in his bag. Now I know when they made the playoffs and they won the chip, Chris Middleton was either playing like Michael Jordan or straight trash. There was no difference in between those. There was no middle ground at all. But if they make it to the finals, they're winning it. I don't see any team in the West getting in competition over here, especially with the Celtics, with that team and that depth and everything, and they've been here before, and they're all still young and still wanting it. They're going to win. I can clearly see the Celtics winning it.
Can't wait for all of us to be wrong and the Kings win it.
All right.
I think the Spurs, personally.
Thank you, panel, and thank you for tuning in to LUTV Sports Break, where we keep you in the game for every game. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for more Lamar University Sports. See you next time.